A Protest Guide for People Power 4. Chapter 1. Large protests change the world quickly. Be an activist leader. A powerful activist in the modern world is somebody who has a central, well-known website, email list and/or Twitter account which he or she can use to contact a lot of people quickly. A good activist is in the public eye. People know that that's the dude or chick for that issue. If the mainstream journalists know who you are, you're on the map. There has to be a backup server and backup data because if you're that powerful, government agents will try to shut you down. If you want to be a great activist leader, you have to get most to all activist groups, activist writers, concerned citizens, and left-wing journalists to give you their email addresses or get them to follow you on Twitter so they're ready in case you announce a massive protest. Massive protest. There are two types of massive protests. 1. Spontaneous 1. Something happens. The guy in Tunisia sets himself on fire because of despair that he can't find a job. Everybody is angry. You can wait for an event where the government does something really stupid, then strike quickly, intensely with as much force as possible, which means a show of people. 2. Plan the protest a few weeks in advance for a day like a public holiday. Your nation's special holiday is a great day to start a protest. Start it off festively but dig in for the long haul. When you're ready, contact all your cohorts. Tell them it's a go. The best way is to occupy your parliamentary area quickly before the police have a chance to get in there to break it up. After the Ukraine protests, Azerbaijan tried it. The cops came in and started beating on everybody. You need to get a lot of people in place quickly so the cops are vastly outnumbered, otherwise they will break it up. You need big organizations like unions, student unions, the NAACP, Greenpeace, or your National Association of Retired People to step up and help you organize the mass protest and get the people out if we need them because they have employees, volunteers and resources. One or several of the big activist organizations should agree to unite all the activist groups to have them ready in case we need to mobilize for major protests for the People Power Program/PPP and any other causes that come up that we feel we have to fight for. Greenpeace has a strong presence in virtually every country. They want to promote a green world, but they have very little real power to do anything. If you get Greenpeace on your side, they got an email list of several thousand people in every country who want to show up at protests. You have to forget about your petty differences as activists supporting different causes and unite if you want to dethrone your system of temporary dictatorship. Create a slogan. Put it on t-shirts and protest signs. Somebody has to come forward to unite different activist groups in a country for one central cause. Activist groups. Unions. College student groups. Seniors, AARP, CARP. The community radio stations, mostly on college campuses. Left-wing newspapers and magazines. People angry at the government. Long-term occupation of your national government area. If your leader does not allow you to vote online for the People Power Program/PPP, you're going to have to occupy the government buildings area and stay there for a while if you have to. This occupation will be made up of day visitors and people who camp out for the long run. Start off with a party atmosphere for 3 days, but the longer the leader stalls in instituting the People Power Program, the more you escalate civil disobedience tactics. We don't want the leader to say he'll put it to a free vote in his chamber because we already know that the politicians are not going to vote for anything that will take away their power and jobs. The leader has to set up the e-voting system and put the People Power Program/PPP up for a vote by the people. If there is a need for a long stay to get the government to approve People Power, we will invite musicians and DJs to come by and play music. We will invite the fast food franchises, supermarket chains and beer companies to set up booths to support the cause by giving us free food and getting some publicity for themselves. We will invite famous activists from the old days and these days to come up, sing a song and give us a speech, like people from democracynow.org, alternatives.ca, canadiandimension.com, renzi.com, infowars.com, uninvitedguests.net and alternativeradio.org. We will invite politicians to show support by coming to speak. We will invite activist leaders to come and support us. We will invite journalists, academics, and authors to speak for the cause. Some of the people stay and camp out there. Others go home or to a hotel for the night but come back every afternoon until we get people power instituted as the law of the land. We encourage people all across the nation to set up protests in their towns and call their media networks to get media coverage. If there is no concession from the government after a week, we start resorting to acts of civil disobedience. We fill the biggest intersections with protesters to stop traffic, thereby interfering with the normal course of business. We'll ask protesters in Toronto to disrupt traffic in the national financial area where the big stock exchange is. We'll do other things which I won't mention here because if you write publicly about committing an illegal act, you can get a criminal charge for inciting criminality. It's like Guy Fawkes and the storming of the Bastille. When they tell you to eat cake and laugh at you, the salt of the earth people have no choice but to unite and rise up. If our leader refuses to let us vote on whether we want to change the government, then everything that happens is on his head. He would be the cause of all acts of civil disobedience because he did not do the right thing to help the people live better lives. We'll ask people to hang national flags upside down on their cars and houses. This is a universal sign of distress, to hang a flag upside down. We'll ask the people to call all the government departments and send them useless emails to jam them up. It's a common thing to use destructive tactics if you must to get your point across. There are relatively easy ways to screw the government. Get enough people in society to simply stop paying them. They don't have the ability to go after everybody. Tell everybody to stop paying their income taxes and student loans. Find the local federal politician's office in your riding and use it as a symbol of protest any way you see fit. We, the people, have to decide if we got the guts to fight and actually show up to do it. Do we have enough fiery people among us willing to start a protest for our rights to govern ourselves? Create mass confusion by getting rid of all street signs. In the 1968 Czech Revolution, for about a week thousands of people went around either destroying street signs or spray painting them black so no one could read them. Most people don't know very many street names. Get rid of the street signs and almost everybody gets confused. Do this in every city and town and you got a revolution. When they replace the signs, spray paint them again. Everybody with a house or apartment window puts up a sign. Whenever there is an election, there are candidate signs everywhere. We do the same thing for the People Power program. People make their own signs out of cardboard, Bristol board, anything. They put them on their lawns, houses, windows, cars, etc. They read something like, "We want the People Power program /PPP now. We demand the People Power program /PPP now. We will fight for the People Power program /PPP forever. People Power program /PPP united." Create an online and real-life physical petition to force your president to set up an online vote for the People Power program /PPP. Set up an online petition and one in real life where you get people to sign up for this proposal. We demand that the government sets up an electronic voting system at peopower.gov so we, the citizens of this nation, can vote on the following idea. Should we abolish the Senate and replace it with the online voting agency where people will vote on big important issues that the President/Prime Minister and Congress/Parliament come up with, plus the people will come up with their own ideas and vote on them? Yes. No. Once you get 1 million signatures, contact the major media and report it as a news story. Make the list public so everyone can see it. Chapter 2. Change this poor excuse for representative democracy. Spam your leader's email address and Twitter account every day. Send this message to your president every day. I, Joe Citizen, demand that you, President Jackass, set up an electronic voting system at peopower.gov so that we, the citizens of this nation, can vote on the following idea. Should we abolish the Senate and replace it with the online voting agency where people will vote on big important issues that the President/Prime Minister and Congress/Parliament come up with, plus the people will come up with their own ideas and vote on them? Yes. No. Postage is free in many places when sending a letter to the government. If you put a message on a postcard demanding the People Power Program/PPP, several people will read it before it gets to its final destination. Do anything to get publicity for the People Power Program/PPP. If your government refuses to give you the power to vote on whether you want the People Power Program, start writing articles and getting in the media asking what has representative government done for your country. Look at some of the bills they passed into law recently. Do your own online vote and publish the results. Get the people to vote on those laws to see if a majority vote against what the government did. Organize public events and protests for the People Power Program/PPP. Ask your fellow country people, why does your president deserve celebrity status? He or she has no special skills that advances the human race. They're just good at spewing bullshit. That's it. Use humor. Make comical anti-government videos and pro-People Power Program/PPP videos. Post them online. Create music videos with catchy slogans. The media has to constantly talk about this. Talk about it on talk radio. Send articles to newspapers and websites. Target the politicians who oppose the People Power Program/PPP. Tell them if there is another election for your chamber, they will lose because you will campaign heavily against them. Send copies of People Power Program/PPP articles to everyone you know. The Occupy movement spawned local and demographic Occupy websites. This is what the People Power Program/PPP needs. Occupy websites went up for all the big cities. There were musicians for Occupy, writers for Occupy, gays for Occupy, unions for Occupy, Arabs for Occupy, etc. This is what we need for People Power Program/PPP if we want momentum. Upside down flag is a sign of distress. If you get a bunch of cheap flags, turn them upside down and get several hundred people to wave them at a protest, that's a powerful image of protest. Stickers and t-shirts. Local retail businesses that sell bumper stickers, t-shirts, and novelty stickers make People Power Program/PPP captions on these products and sell them at a low price so people can buy them, wear them and show that they support the People Power Program/PPP. The typical caption would be, People Power Program.